Well, good morning once again. This is Robert,
And Suzanne.
and we're Clarity, and we're doing our, I think, maybe sixth podcast. We're here at the ocean's edge again. It's kind of a foggy, misty, rainy, sprinkles morning, so we're out walking with the umbrella, and we're
Yeah.
back in the car a little bit drier.
Well, this is our podcast about the process.
Oh, that's right. This is Clarity's Process podcast. And we welcome you once again. Those who have joined us before, hello again. And for those that are new, hi. And we are continuing a series of podcasts about the process, the creative process. It's for all of you creatives out there and your friends that are interested in how things come about, how things come from nothing to something, which is a very big part of creativity.
Yeah.
From
big
the
part of
imaginal realm to a objective, demonstrative reality is, what's his name would say from Magical Tattoos.
Well, and dreaming in your life, when it becomes a posture that you can sit in, it then becomes a conversation that you can actually have with the process. Because dreaming is part of what initiates the process
True.
and
Very big part of it.
continues it, and then helps you do closure with it.
Oh, I love that, the closure, because you do have those three steps, beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And we have felt it in our creative process, and we hear other artists talk about it, that the middle is kind of it's a little messy spot when that's you're not necessarily thrilled with, but you know it's part of what gets you to the completion of anything.
It's the part where you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're really in the mystery.
You know, in the beginning, you think, "Ooh, I got a good idea."
You can
and you
see
start
where
moving towards
you
it.
can see where you started.
And then in the middle, it's
Like the walls are so far away. It's like, where am I? What space am I in?
yeah, you've become a big fuzzball.
Yeah, the big fuzz ball.
Everything is sticking to you, and it's something that you learn to be part of instead of separating yourself out of and from.
Yeah.
And once you learn to be part of that middle, my gosh, that's where everything is.
Yeah.
That's how it's how it actually gets messy and becomes part of your life. It sticks to you. It drowns you sometimes.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Puts you to take a nap. The middle is so big.
I know. I have got to go sit down, or I've got to go lay down for a bit.
Or you'll have to sit down and have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Or
Something
a cup of your favorite coffee.
treat yourself so your body knows that you care about it as you're
and you say,
traveling.
"Oh, it's okay. We're in the middle."
Yeah.
And then you realize that you're not alone. You have company.
Yeah.
It's that part of you that can engage the middle, even though at times you don't even know that part of you exists.
Yeah.
But when you get in that middle, that part of you sits down in a chair, has some tea, and begins to show you your way out. And I think the world's kind of in the middle right now.
Truly.
And I think that
and it feels messy, chaotic, and
everything's
upsetting.
sticking to you.
Yeah, and yet at the same time, it is part of the process of getting from one place that you used to be to a new place that you haven't been. And isn't that what a day is? You open up into it.
It gets so deep,
and
though, you don't think you
it's
can climb up and out of it.
It's brand new. You may feel all the familiar sights and sounds around you, your bedroom, your kitchen, your apartment, your house. All of those things are familiar, but today really is a different one. And so the more you see the potential and possibilities inside it, then even if it is new and you're in the middle of a new day, you have things to navigate with. And then you help create a map of
and
those
your life becomes
feelings.
miraculous.
It does. It truly is. It is miraculous.
I'd be
Good
very,
word.
very disappointed if I don't have at least 4 or 5 miracles in a day.
Yeah.
And especially at least one.
Yeah.
even if I have to make it myself,
Yeah.
abracadabra.
Yeah, something, you know.
I can sit down and do a podcast and make a miracle
Yeah,
out of it. Just
yeah.
make it all up and make it into this miracle that gives me information and pulls me out of the hole I just stepped in.
Yeah. There's so many different ways to use creativity. Sometimes it's yours, and you need to just kind of breathe into it. And sometimes it may be you sitting down and reading a poem, or writing something to yourself or to someone you care about. All these little nuances are
Well,
what goes into what you're creating.
also in a day, it's like our work is we live, we embody it.
Mm-hmm.
We take it all the way through, and so sometimes the embodying of it becomes absolutely kind of ridiculous. and a few months ago, we started embodying this part of the show that we're actually working on, and it's where our room becomes the room. It's the part of the work that's actually breathing and moving.
Yeah.
And all at once, everything in our room and to our room and from our room is part of the show. And it's part of what we're doing. It's part of what we're making. And we don't even realize it. We think we're a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
But so all at once, all the clothes come off and they go onto velvet hangers. And then they dress up like all the clothes that were in the
Like,
kind of hanging area.
because what
they've
you've
gotten
done,
all dressed up together.
Because what you've done is you hung not just one item of clothing, but then you layered it so it's a complete ensemble, a complete outfit. And then you look at that and you go, oh my God, that is a character. That
And
is a character there.
It's what you can embody and put on without and include everything, all the choices, without having to do that fully in every day.
Yeah.
That they're already done, and I've never done that before. And then they all have, and I don't even have a closet in our room. We have something to hang things up.
Yeah.
So all at once you think, gosh, what are we doing this for? And then some of them we hang up in this up in a little tiny hallway cove into or actually where we sleep, and they're like little soldiers hanging on the ceiling, and you brush through them because
it's
they
like
do
you're
hang
brushing
out
beneath
down by the face. Yeah.
brushing beneath the hem of whatever the outfit is. So
Yes.
it's like going through a dry car wash.
Yeah.
Those little brushes.
And my daughter
It's so
Susanna asked her to
comfortable.
come in and go through that part and tell you what it felt like to her, and she said it felt like birth. And so every time you go through it, you engage the feeling of coming into something completely new, and the comfortableness of it and the uncomfortableness of it. And then we took everything that was inside of things and put them outside of things. And that became really very different because the choices to match became very easy, very easy to touch. But all the things inside are now in this little all hall kind of thing. And it's like people wearing all their clothes on the outside of everything.
Yeah.
and then into our area where we sleep has become quite gymnastic because we have to
crawl over
everything.
A giant hassock
and
to
we
get
have a
into the bed.
huge comforter that is in a big basket up on top of a shelf that it's just fabulous. All we have
It's
to
the
do
neatest
is
thing.
pull it forward, comes down to where we sleep, and we call it the mother. And she
Because it
goes
has one
over
of our
it.
images
It
on
has,
the duvet cover.
yeah, it's a duvet. It's a what do you call that? It's
There's a down comforter.
Down comforter, and then we ordered that down comforter, the duvet for it.
Because we have it prints on Fine Art America, so for ourselves we ordered one of the paintings that we did. Image is on the duvet cover,
And it's the mother, and
and
what
so we
feel.
feel swaddled, and
We
I
feel
just
swaddled, and it's
in
even
that.
underwater, like in Dreaming.
yeah.
And
Very
so
magical.
we pull that down, and then when we get up, we put it all back in. It's kind of a great invention. And then we have shelving on both sides where we cubes, and so our world is it gives us plenty of room, but we're in a cube. We're cubed in and squared, and that's the whole working.
It's part
with
of our. You'll notice that from our writing if you go to Essential Codex.
And so we live inside the equations of the equations that guide us, and the equations that we create from, and equations we discover, and so that's very different in some ways. But a mother who has children, she lives inside their equation. She lives inside their needs, and she lives inside their comforts, and she lives inside their clothes and their food, and
so you as a
and
creative,
she wears it with a baby bag, so she carries that world of mothering.
And then as a creative, that's really what you are doing too. You are carrying your inspirations and your aspirations and your imagination with you, and as you nurture and feed them, then they start. Yes, you do.
You need to
carry them with
some
you.
small things that are of that world that you take everywhere, and that you actually allow yourself to have it in your bag, or
whether it's a notebook to write poetry in, or a notebook to journal in, or a notebook for your writing or sketching, or your tablet, your phone, your iPad,
crayons,
and you have a drawing app on there, something to keep you connected to your creativity. And that is an essential.
You're like the mother with the creative bag or the diaper bag.
So it's like you don't
take care.
You don't forget your child.
Of that child, the creative child.
Yeah. I think this is just being a creative and knowing that you're tending to something very magical, very important, very sacred to you, and therefore part of your place in the universe is a very
the
honoring
tending
thing.
Comes out and relates to the 10, and what we call that 10 of 10, and it's a process that you go through to come to completion. You have to know it, and you have to feel it, you have to recognize it, and then you go into you move out of judgment of it, and then you move into recognition, then you move into all the steps till you actually have it. But that's also why we love 10s. Lots of art supplies are in 10s. And 10s are this little rattly thing, and they're small or large or flat, and they're easy to open up and work with your process. And so 10s fascinate us, and we have 10s in our pockets, and 10s on our desk, and 10s on our art space, and 10s in our bag, and they're always working with that 10. And the thing is that you open yourself up to your process of 10 of 10, and that's how you come to a completion.
10 is a number of completion,
and the embodiment of a piece.
And it's a 10 that completion then rolls you over into the next new piece. And you'll notice in the background you hear the sound.
We're down at the ocean.
That's the windshield wipers.
But it's raining.
And it's like a metronome. It's a tick tock.
Oh my goodness.
Tick tock. And it can be a very soothing thing. But you have your breath rhythm inside your creativity. And a lot of artists use music, or they'll put on a movie or something in the background just to help balance out the energy, so their breath isn't so it's sovereign and it's singular, but it doesn't feel so alone. So having sound around you in your studio area, or if you're like we are here, we are out at the ocean, we're looking at the ocean, we have this on, we've decided to do this podcast.
We walked in the rain.
We could have just as easily brought our art bag with us and had out a sketching pad, or we could have had watercolors.
Used to that again.
We've had to, since the pandemic, and kind of being sequestered away, getting back out in the world is for some people it's just a snap because they're a little bit more in their old world again. But we made sure that when we came back out, it would be all new to us. So we're kind of a little bit to ourselves from on the inside, a little bit newbornish. So it's a matter of getting accustomed to seeing things with new eyes, feeling things with new feelings, and being aware. And then how do you take that in and what do you make with it?
Yeah, and traveling with new toys.
And traveling with new toys, yeah.
Oh, I guess that's
I think
about
that's
our
pretty
podcast.
good. We're about ready to head back to the house because we're turning the car over to our housemate, and she's going to head out. And it's part of the rotation of having one car for 5 people. And for us, it's a bit of getting used to, but at the same time, it is very environmentally sound.
Yeah,
Very
and
green.
we've had one car for
Yeah,
since
for a while.
the pandemic.
Yeah,
came.
yeah.
But
So-
we haven't gone out at all.
No. So we want to thank you for joining us.
Yes.
I'm
I
Robert,
hope we love you that love this podcast. I'm
I think so.
Suzanne
and we are,
Clarity.
yes. So until next time, this is Clarity's Process Podcast. Thank you for joining us.